dealership right now in Newport Beach, California, because today, well, I got the news that the new McLaren Artura has arrived in California, and this is the first and only one on the West Coast. We've actually scheduled a private viewing of the car, and I am so excited to finally see it in person. This is it. We have made it to McLaren of Newport Beach. It's a really cool location because just that way, there's the coastline, the ocean, right? You know, the cars drive by. But inside, I'm told, is the new Artura. We're actually meeting with Matthew. So I'm excited about this. Head on in. But I think that way is the new Artura. And actually, how you doing, Matthew? Good to see you, man.
How's it going, man? Good to see you again.
I am so excited about this. And seeing it under the cover, shoot, this is crazy. You mind if you pull it off?
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. It does look really different than I thought it would in person. I mean, this, you can kind of tell how it's got 570-esque type vibes, right? But this is the future of McLaren right here. This is a hybrid. So is this the only one on the West Coast right now?
Right now it is.
Oh,
and even though it does look
gosh.
very similar to the 570S, this is an all-new chassis, engine, completely new drivetrain. So it's a new 8-speed dual clutch in there, and then it is a hybrid system too.
Yeah, I remember watching the online reveal, and they're saying how it has the new MCLA McLaren lightweight carbon architecture. So this new platform is going to be home for the next generation, right, of
Correct.
the hybrid technology. And speaking about that, this is the first ever V6, right, in a McLaren. That is so
Correct.
crazy. Can you see it?
We can see a little bit of the top
Oh,
of
yeah.
the engine. And what's really interesting on this, it's actually a hot valve. So the turbos are going to be sitting in the middle of that V.
Really?
Yep.
That
Just
is-
helps spool the turbos a little bit quicker. It'll eliminate some of that lag. And then with the electrification, you're never going to feel like a torque slump. Because
You're right, yeah.
Before the turbos are starting to spool up, it's going to give you the electrifications. Once the turbos are on boost, it's just going to continue to ride out that.
So basically, it's going to remove that, you know, like misnomer you get with McLaren's, how they say the turbo lag so bad, this, that. To me, it's not that bad. I like it. But with this car being hybrid now,
You're
they
not gonna
can
be able to
map
feel
that
it.
all in. So then you're not going to really notice it that much.
Nope. Not at all.
That is just so crazy. And speaking of that, though, I think I read this online. This is that chimney, right? That
Correct.
extracts all that hot air from down below in the engine. Wow, that is just amazing. And I'm guessing this is where you can fill up with oil and everything. Wow. It does have a very interesting design for when it comes to the rear deck, because like the wing itself, you got no crazy rear wing like the 600LT or the 765 with the active arrow, but you can kind of tell how it bows up a bit, right, on the bottom.
Yeah,
So you do
little
have,
slight ducktail, if you will.
yeah, and then the center mounted exhaust. And I guess them doing this, it does look a bit like the 720S to me, but you can actually put on a crazier rear diffuser, kind of like my 600LT. That's awesome. You want to check out the interior?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah, and I saw this online too. So basically this is gonna illuminate, right? With
Correct.
like different colors and everything. That's super cool. Wow, man, this is trippy, you know that? Cause I'm used to like, the intakes have always been really covered mostly for the McLarens, like the 570 series and 720, but this is like,
This one's very pronounced.
it's almost like the Elva, I mean, right? How
A little
it kinda
bit, yeah.
just pops
Similar
out
shape.
on the side.
Totally.
Wow, then you actually have a door handle for once, really, on a McLaren. This is awesome. And regarding those seats, though, too,
All new design as well.
do you know if these are the new Club Sport seats they've been talking about?
We don't have the build sheet for this exact spec, so
Okay,
we
I
don't know
gotcha.
yet, but it does look like them.
Wow, it does look really nice. And you have the carbon fiber on the door. So and you can see how with each generation of the door sill, it's getting more small, it's getting more compact, you can get in and out
Correct.
a
Easier
bit
to get in and
easier.
out of.
Speaking of
Top
that,
lower too, because even in like your 600, the part of the tub here is going to be quite.
oh yeah, it's really high. And I like how they integrated with like the carpeting over this, because I had a PPF, the actual carbon fiber door sill. With this, you don't have to really worry too much about it. Speaking about it, am I allowed to sit inside?
Please.
Oh, sweet. Mind if I hold the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, here we go. First time sitting in the new Artura. And speaking of that, look the doors closer to the car, isn't it? I just backed up into it a bit. I don't really do that in my car. But then you have the typical, you know, buttons for the hood, release it, etc. But hopping inside, yeah, the door sill's really, really low, so it's not that tough getting in and out. This is a weird design because you can see how, with this center dash right here, this console, I mean, it is connected, right, to the steering wheel column. So it's a trippy, like, 3D effect with it. And here's a start button down here, and actually it's got like a glass finish over it. It's trippy looking. Can you guys see that with the camera angle? It reflects a bit. It's not like a solid color like with my car. And hitting it once, this is a hybrid now, right? So how would I know? You have the key?
Yep.
That's
Put your foot on the brake.
Gotcha. It does look crazy in here. I mean, it feels so modern and futuristic in this dash. I mean, it looks cool in here. I like it. I wasn't sure what I was going to think about this car. But being in here and even lowering the doors a tiny bit, you can tell how, yeah, the design is new, but you can tell how it takes the similar traits that we're used to, right? How these door handles are curved and sloped like this, and you have like the McLaren logo on the doors. And with this center screen right here, the iris display, it is trippy because it's floating basically at you, like how the Senna is. You can see right here, and it's got a screen protector right there because they know people will be checking this out. They don't want anyone damaging it. But I love the red accents everywhere in this car, even on the front dash. It reminds me of like the MSO treatment that you get with McLarens. And then these seats too, they're really comfortable. That's funny, it actually has legitimate cup holders now.
Yeah, it does.
Legitimate cup holders.
Well, even the interior volume itself is bigger. Like, you have more room in there than even a 720.
It does feel much more spacious inside. Like with my car, the dash kind of feels like right here. I really do love this design right here though, how the carbon fiber kind of goes 3/4 of the way into the door sill, ends here. So when you get in and out, this is really, really important because with my car, I gotta be so careful, right, doing this maneuver. But let's say if you weren't too careful, you know, sometimes getting out of the car, pumping up gas, your foot might hit this on the door sill. So basically the carpet really, really protects the carbon fiber. And down here where the transmission selectors are, drive, neutral, reverse, thinking about it, this car technically doesn't really have a reverse like your normal McLaren would, right? Or like a Ferrari, etc. Because the interesting thing about it is that this car actually has an electric reverse. So let's say you're in drive and then you want to do like a multi-point turn and then you go into reverse. Well, it's not going to be using the gas motor for that at all. The e-motor actually rotates reverse to back up the car. So I wonder how that's going to feel once you get inside this vehicle and you drive it around, right? It is trippy knowing that this car has the same style powertrain as the McLaren P1, right? This is basically inspired by the P1 and it costs, what, $200, I think it was $25,000 with the MSRP. The P1 was $1 million, right? So this is almost a cut price P1 when you consider the powertrain architecture, the all-new high-performance hybrid technology. The Alcantara everywhere, though. I mean, the build quality on this car, it feels really nice. And then speaking of that, though, too, like I was mentioning, actual legitimate cup holders. So with my car, it's really hard trying to keep, you know, water bottles or sodas in place because it'll fly around sometimes. So you guys should put maybe a big cup in here, I don't know. And then up here, so 2 spots. And then having this display floating, though, it just makes you feel like you have more room inside this car again. You can reach around, put your water bottle up here in this front cup holder, and then I don't think it'll move at all. Then the leather trim, I think this one is a performance version with the red lining everywhere. And sitting in these seats, you can obviously install harnesses. There are slots for that. And I love that badge in the middle. It seems like these seats would hold you in very well for the racetrack. With this new vehicle, it marks the end of the actual analog toggle switches for the active modes and changing from sport to track. Then you hit active once you pre-select what you want. So with this car, everything is really integrated right in front of you, so you can keep your hands on the steering wheel and reach forward to change the drive modes. As you can see right here on the side, you have your handling settings, so going down and up, you can change between normal, sport, and then track. And then the middle ESC off, if you single press that, that'll put you in dynamic, and if you hold it, it'll probably just turn off all the ESC control. And then on the right side, you have the same thing, but for the powertrain. So you can go up for, you know, track or sport, and then down for normal. And then also this car does have another setting that we don't really see in any of the McLaren, and that is for everyday driving using the e-motor. Let's go ahead and get out of the car. And then Matt, here you go. Here's the key. It is interesting how they changed that key. I wonder if you can still do like the customization, because mine, it's painted orange to match the car. That's got like a different, you know, it's high quality, rough texture. Yeah, you're right. But closing the door, and you can see down here too, though, you have more air ducts down below that channel the air, and it kind of blends in with the bottom of the door. That is just super trippy. You can see that right there, that air channel. But I'm closing it. Here we go. And then you can get soft close, right, with this car. But I do want to ask you, though, what would the process be like if you did want to get one of these vehicles? Obviously, you put a deposit now, right? And then from there...
Correct. So what happens is you're going to leave your first initial deposit now. That saves you a spot. We're going to invite you back in once we have the allocation, and then we're able to physically spec the vehicle with the different colors, options, and so forth. And then to physically place the deposit, it's a total of $25K. So just collect $5K to initiate the spot, and then $20 once we submit the build. For these initial orders, we're hoping to have deliveries here by Q4 this year.
So in general, though, this is basically going to be replacing like the 570S in terms of a series production car that's not quite
sort of
limited. But
so it's not going to be as limited as, say, like the 600 LT, because we know with that vehicle, basically McLaren sent less than 500 coupes and less than 500 Spyders total with those vehicles to North America. And so this car is kind of a new segment because our GT has filled what the 570S used to be, right? So that's still that old same chassis with that V8 and a lower entry price point, because this vehicle does start at $225. So it is kind of a new slot, if you will, and it being hybridized. But the goal is to have these readily available and have more slots available and just try to get more of them onto the street and to the public.
taking a step back though, looking at the car, I feel like these side scoops actually remind me of like the new McLaren Elva, right? How they're just completely opened up to the air right next to the door. How it all just starts angulating inwards, right? Kind of like the McLaren GT is. It's not all tucked away like the 720S. So this is a really interesting design, and it does show you how McLaren takes certain design cues from different series vehicles they have and use them to inspire new ones. And then moving up though, we do have that flying buttress on top of the car where the roof is. And then you can see the laser cut design over that engine right there. It does make me wonder, though, what maintenance is going to be like for this vehicle. A really good thing that McLaren is doing now, though, is that they're extending their model warranties for the Artura. So compared to my car, I have a 3-year standard warranty. This has a 5-year warranty, also a 6-year battery warranty, and a 10-year body warranty. So it shows you how much it really means to McLaren to satisfy buyers, make them feel confident that these vehicles are going to be reliable, that you're going to buy a $200,000 car and you're not going to have issues with it, at least for a long time. That really does show you how confident and committed they are at making this car work, be successful. Looking closely though, you can see how I keep getting shocked by the car. That is so funny. I wonder why it's shocking me so much. I guess it's a hybrid, right? All the electricity is all baked into the car. Anyways, looking forward, we can see the huge rear wheels in the back, and these are actually 20 inches, and I believe up front are 19s. And then this one is wearing Pirelli P0 Corsas. Pirelli is introducing the new cyber technology with these tires. So we have all these new measuring systems baked into them instead of the wheel. Regardless, you have huge 15-inch rotors out back that are carbon ceramic, just like all of the previous lineup of McLarens. And these things on track, they're gonna hold up super well. One thing I really do love about this car though is that, as you can see, we have these really cool blended in louvers or vents right here above the front wheels. And I believe this is a standard option for this car. And looking at them, you can get them painted with the car or finish in exposed carbon fiber. But I think this layout right here with the exposed carbon matching like the side mirrors, it really looks good. And then lastly, coming to the front of the vehicle, as you can see, it does have 720 type headlights, right? How they're offset towards the inside of the vehicle. Now with the 570S's and my LT, it's all, the headlights are actually flush with the car. With this car, as you can see though, again, it's hidden up inside. Then moving down though, you have a huge carbon fiber front splitter and cameras all throughout. So unlike previous McLarens, this actually has adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and special road sensing alerts. And you can really see that air channel on the side because behind the front wheels, it kind of just opens up. I really appreciate it again, this thing, seeing it in person. It looks really cool. I'm actually really impressed with it. I wasn't sure what I was going to think, but seeing this car, and do you know what the color is called of this vehicle, actually?
Don't know yet. It kind of reminds me of our old vermilion red with a little bit of burnt orange mixed in, so it's very interesting.
Do you know how much longer this car is going to be here? So if you did want to check it out.
Sunday, if folks want to stop in.
And then if you did want to order it, it's about $20,000 deposit, 25.
Correct.
And then from there, you got your spot locked in. And then when the order banks open up, you can customize and then get everything locked in.
Yep.
Alrighty then, cool. Thank you again. I'll make sure to think about it.
My pleasure. I'm glad you got a chance to come down here and see it in person finally.
This is it, the coastline. Now, leaving Newport Beach McLaren. I cannot wait to see it actually hit the streets, right? Where people can actually drive the car. And I can't wait to drive one myself, because just thinking about how that new hybrid technology is going to influence the driving experience, it's going to be very interesting. Something very different than what we're used to, right? At least for us non-P1 owners or Speedtail owners, etc., right? Because this technology, it's not something completely new for McLaren. They've done it before. It's tested. And when they did use hybrid technology, like for the P1, it blew the world away. So they're taking their skills, their expertise, right? And they're putting it into an actual high volume series production car that more and more people will have the chance to own compared to a P1. So if anything, this is going to put the company to the actual test to see how good they're going to do with this new architecture. And then actually you can see where McLaren is. So right down that way, behind those fences, that's the McLaren dealership. So literally, I mean, there's a dealership, here's the coast. No longer do we have the V8 McLaren. It's now V6, similar to what you find in an Acura NSX or the new Porsche 992 GT3, right? If you're wondering how much power this car makes without the e-motor, it's actually 577 horsepower. So really, if you compare it to this, it's pretty close. This car is advertised as 592 horsepower. So when you look at the engine itself, McLaren says it's more power dense per ton than any other McLaren V8 except for the Senna and the Speedtail. The powertrain isn't just brand new, but the transmission's brand new as well. So the e-motor is actually housed with the new dual clutch, and the dual clutch actually has one extra gear than this car right here. So this is a 7-speed DCT compared to the new 8-speed, and that extra gear, I'm told, is actually used for highway cruising for the best gas mileage possible. In total, all the electric components with this new Artura, that being the e-motor, it only weighs 300 pounds. All that stuff. The 5-module lithium-ion batteries, the e-motor itself, the cooling required for it. So it is really interesting because, well, the V6 weighs 110 pounds less than the V8. So in total, that's a 200-pound difference right there. It actually weighs 40-something kilos more than a 570S. I mean, it's a lot lighter than a lot of the competition out there, even though it's a hybrid. So then in total, when you count in that 577 horsepower V6, it's twin turboed, and the 94 horsepower and 166 pound-foot of torque e-motor, the car makes in total 671 horsepower. Here's a question I do want to leave this video with. What do you think this means for the future of McLaren? That being, is this the end of the V8s as we know from them? And also, if you're going to be interested in buying a McLaren Artura yourself, please let me know what you think about it if you like the car. To me, I do like it so far. I just want to wait and see how it actually performs, like on the racetrack. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button to help me out. Also subscribe for much more great supercar videos coming your way. I'll see all of you in the next episode.